Holy crap. If you're not energized for the Halloween show, should be by now, right? Okay. No. Welcome to the Acute Mania Live Halloween special. I can't believe it's already freaking Halloween. Well, I guess it's not Halloween technically yet, but, you know, the year has just flown by, right, Isaac?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I was in it yet. All right. Yeah.
Isaac's with me tonight from North Carolina with Hidden in the Shadows Paranormal Podcast. Blah, 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 blah. I'm getting ahead of myself. Welcome back, man. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
We were just talking a little bit ago. I think it's been probably about a year since. I think it wasn't Halloween last year, but I think it was around this time, like fall or something. I think maybe September or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. How are things going since we last spoke?
Well, the war that I talked about in the last podcast of spiritual warfare and taking on demons and doing cases. I think my current count last time we talked was like 90, right?
Yeah.
Confirmed demons in my ring that I use to imprison everything I take. If everyone watching going, what the fuck is he talking about?
You'll see soon.
Yeah, the last episode I was on with him, we talked about my ability. On my podcast, I talked about my ability. But anyway, it was like 90. I'm at 147
Jeez.
right now.
Yeah.
And I'm up to 42 home cases that I've
Well,
completed so
go ahead
far.
and tell the folks a little bit about what you do and like what you're talking about. I guess just to
Yeah.
keep catch up.
September of 2020, I gained, or the ability per se awoke in me, to control, manipulate, and essentially feel the energy of the dead or the other side. And I feel it in my hands. And the sensation feels like when your hands go to sleep, that numbing static sensation. And the closer and stronger I am to it, say said entity, the stronger it feels in my hands. And over practice, over time, I figured out that my left hand charges that sensation. I call it charging. It's a good spirit, human spirit, something positive. My right hand charges something negative, something evil. In the beginning, it was just like, hey, I was a natural EMF detector. But then over time in practice, I learned that I can pull that energy in like a vacuum. And then um, I used to have to filter it through my body like a natural frustration system, but that started taking a toll on me. But my mentor had a vision of a King Solomon symbol. I had no idea what it was, but luckily I had a member on the team that we were currently on who knew what it was. It was a symbol on King Solomon's ring. And the story of King Solomon amongst the Abrahamic faiths is that he was the only person to imprison 72 demons in a ring that was given to him by Archangel Michael, and the wisdom of the Semitic magic given to him by God. And using that combination, he was able to imprison 72 demons that he used to build his temples. Now, um, that ring's lost through time, whether the stories go at, but all three Abrahamic faiths, they always talk about that story. So that's what gave me the idea. Hey, the only other person in history is doing what I'm doing. Granted, he used magic and I just has an ability. Maybe I could. So I bought a simple King Solomon replica ring, nothing special, the steel and silver. And over the last 4 years now, everything I've taken evil wise, I never taken anything good. I only ever pull evil entities. Everything evil wise that I've taken has gone into that ring. It's almost the ring works like an access point, not a haunted object, an access point to
Or
another world,
portal. It
another
could be a
dimension.
portal also.
Portal, yeah, you can say portal. I always use access point. Portal, yeah, to another world, another dimension where like this space, wherever they are housed, is like a prison. Um, and everything I take is put there. Hence, why the best way to describe what I am, I've been looking for it for the last 4 years. What I am, it's like a shaman, but a shaman that was born to do this, not a shaman that was trained to do this. And that's what separates me from a lot of other people, is that a lot of abilities like this had to be learned in years of training and all this extra symbols and prayers and incense and all this extra stuff just to get a tenth what I do naturally. And I walk into a room, said person's dealing with some dark entity, I grab, pull, walk out, hey, let's go on, let's go next to the next thing. And 42 home cases have allowed me to do that. Now, something gonna blow people's minds. Out of those 42 home cases, two I've done in person. And the reason being is because after learning through my mentor, granted, he had no idea about this ability, but he knew the spiritual side of the paranormal, granted, being a psychic medium himself. He trained me and helped me to learn to focus with meditation, getting contact with my spirit guides, learning to look to my third eye, all that stuff. And after that, I figured out it wasn't a vacuum that I was doing. There were strings of energy leaving my fingertips, firing out, wrapping around the entity like a boa constrictor, pulling that dark energy in, condensing it to the size of a ball, and then I throw it into the ring. Simple command, into the ring. Um, but those strings allowed me to, again, to pull through phones like we're doing here, like we're talking. I can reach through my screen from where I am into where you are, regardless of how far we're across, far apart from each other. Because I pulled through phones from people who are located on the other side of the world, in
Right.
Australia, in China, in India, in Portugal, in England, in Canada, in Mexico.
Now, does there a problem? I guess there does it go away once you do this?
Yeah,
You know,
I
that's
pull it
crazy,
from where it was into where I am, put it in the ring, and then it's
and they
done.
have no more problems.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I have
That's
solved a lot of people's problems in a matter of 30 minutes. Mind you, that's my record. Clearing out a house, 30 minutes.
now. Um, do you have to ask them a lot of questions about like yeah, you have to kind of maybe understand what they're going through and things, but like when it comes, when does it get to the point to where you're kind of seeing what's bothering them, and you're able to go after it, basically,
Well,
especially through the phone.
that's my better half, or my
Yeah.
wife Megan. She is the the eyes and ears to our operation. She's a very powerful psychic medium, allowed her to see, talk to the dead, but her main gift is remote viewing. She can go to anywhere, anyone, alive or dead, it doesn't matter. Show her a picture of somebody, she knows exactly where they are and what they're doing. So when we show her a picture of someone, give them even their name, she can remote view to their home, tell me, okay, they're dealing with this, they're dealing with that. Somebody want to look up here, might want to look over there. All right. So I talk to the person, say, hey, walk me around your house via POVU with the camera and your phone and just show me. And I'll tell you to stop, look up, look right, look left, and whatever's there, I'll take. And then final pull the house, then reach into your mind forest, clear that out. Um, by the reaching into the mind force thing, that's also allowed me to look into the ring, to go into there and see what was there that the people were dealing with. Because I say I'm not a psychic medium. I can't see or hear them out in the world like a psychic or medium could. That's why I said I'm more of a shaman. But once I look into the ring using my ability, I can see what they were dealing with. I can tell you exactly what it looks like, exactly why they were there, all that stuff. And I've talked to the most horrific things you can think of that's never been depicted in film.
Can you see these things, or is that more Megan, your wife?
She sees them out in the world. Like she can, walk into a home and she sees something open in the corner. I have to wait till it's in the ring before I can even have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure this has happened, but just have they tried to restrict you from gathering them? You know what I mean? Have they tried to fight back, basically?
Oh, they try, but there's something that I've always said, and I always tell people. I don't mean to say this. I don't mean to sound egotistical, cocky about when I say this, but it's a matter of fact. Nothing has been able to stop me. Nothing. And I have come across some of the most dangerous things you can think of, and they all fall just the same. Every single time, from the most ancient, powerful demons, from the lowest level shadow figures, it does not matter. They all fall the same. Granted, the older, stronger ones, they put up more of a fight, but it's just a little bit more effort on my end, other than just maybe reaching out, grabbing something, pulling it towards me, throw it in the ring. If I fight something that's a little bit stronger, it puts up more of a fight, but it's maybe last a
Where do
few
you think
seconds more.
where do you think that they come from?
Different places. Me and my wife theorized that if, and this is not more than our theory, it's scientific as well, but not in the way they think, we think in a sense, but the dimensional spaces, right? If we're a third dimensional space, you go higher up in dimensions, you get where crazy, where stuff could live. And I always theorize that ghosts, spirits, demons, they all live in fourth dimensional space. And the veil or the ether is the in between our world and theirs. And while they're there, they can mess with us, absorbing enough energy, like moving objects, oppressing, scratching, attacking people. Right? That's but then between the ether. It's why we can't see what's going on until they make themselves look. You can see them, right? Make themselves known. That's when you know that they have enough power to be seen by your eyes. You're you're in deep shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But different places in mythical history people have always talked about. You have hell, you have Hades, you have underworlds, you have different pantheons talking about where their dark entities come from. And I always theorize that every place like that, it's either in fourth or fifth dimensional space, and they make their way down here. Something I did learn though, in all the oppression cases I've done, demons, specifically demons, were obsessed with humans because of the fact of the emotion, our emotions. Our emotions are very powerful things. It's the strongest point of memory we have. Every emotion attached to a memory is very brighter than, say, a memory that isn't. But our emotions, especially our negative emotions, is like a drug to them. The sadder, the angrier, our depression, our worst emotions are the absolute most sought out drug by a demon. And that's why they oppress people so they can get more of said drug from you. And once they kind of feel like they tapped it out, the last real eminence they can get out of a person is possessing and then taking over the body and working their way from the inside out and feeding on the negative emotions of all their family, whoever's around them, at the same time of possessing the person. And then they try to kill the person they're possessing
Is
to
that the
cause even
same
more
as
sorrow.
is that the same as the type of thing like when they do exorcisms on people that are possessed?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing kind of thing you're talking about?
Yep.
What happens what happens when that needs to happen? Like if you can't if you aren't able to they need an exorcism. I don't even know if they still do that. I guess somebody does. I don't know where to.
Well, the Catholic Church still does a lot, and then you
Yeah,
have other people who kind of dabble in trying to. A lot of shamans these days, some light workers, they try to do it on their own accord because maybe not everyone trusts the Catholic Church, so
yeah.
they need another sort of exorcism, you would say.
But these things still
Um,
happen nowadays, though. I guess, right?
Not as much as everyone thinks they do. I think
Yeah.
exorcisms happen less than oppression cases because oppression cases are like all the time. Out of the 42 home cases that I've done, 30 ish have been with demonic entities. The rest are just human dark entities. So it happens more so than people think it does. But usually, oppression cases, they can easily get taken care of because everyone starts to notice something's wrong. And when
Yeah.
something's wrong, they call somebody in, a priest, a paranormal investigator, a shaman, a light worker, a psychic medium, someone who knows how to get rid of what's going on. And
Can, can you
most of the time it works by pushing the thing away.
can you tell us what the scariest and the hardest one that you've done to date? I guess I don't know if that falls if they fall in the same category, but the scariest, meaning like just it terrified you even, and or the hardest one you've done where like I don't know if I can get rid of this thing.
The scariest is the one who actually got to touch me. No entity I have taken in the last 4 years has gotten close enough to even brush air within in about 5 feet from me. But one actually got close enough to touch me. And believe me, I made his existence more suffering than it needed to be just for that factor.
Yeah.
But the reason being is that we investigated on the base. I know we have a picture or so from the base that you want to share later. But
Yes.
we investigated on the base, and the Marine that allowed us to go on there, he basically sponsored us on. He was with us. And there was this, we were investigating over by the barracks. And there's this wooded area that we kept feeling something was down in that wooded area. But the only way to get to that into the woods was a slope that had these very jagged rocks next to a drain ditch area. And they had all these trees, and I was working my way around. And it was a very easy slope, a slope you can easily run up and walk down. Nothing too hard whatsoever. It made no sense. You couldn't fall down if you tried to. And I noticed the way I had to walk, there was this little branch sticking out that had very pointed thorns. And I was like, God, man, I don't want that tearing out my jacket. And I was like, well, I could step over there, and if I slip, I'll step right into the water. That was the worst thing I expected to happen. So I moved around, and I felt myself like slip on the rock. Okay, here I go into the water. But then I fell forward like somebody pushed me. And I basically tried to catch myself walking on these jagged rocks. And I caught myself in a tree like this with both my hands out. But that effort of catching myself from that momentum tore, slightly tore my right tricep, putting me out of commission for about a
Yeah.
couple of weeks or so before my arm was healed enough for me to pull. Um, that was the closest anything's ever gotten.
That was purposely, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, because like, and my wife, she was watching me. Was like, "How did you even fall? Like, there's no how do you even do that?" So I had to, of course, learn from my mistakes, and I made sure took measures to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Um, but the toughest that I was surprised I took out down, there are high ranking demons, and anyone who studies demonology know like there's top tier guys. And I often don't like to say the names of who I've taken just because I like to keep people out of the loop, you would say,
Yeah.
especially people who are listening and other reasons. But um, I'll have to say if there's a top three, I got number two. And number two came to this house looking for a fight. And it was the strongest I've ever taken down on my own. Um, Luckily, Megan was here to help weaken him, essentially like that. But once I had him in the ring, I was surprised as hell that I even got him there. And I was like, holy shit, I got number two.
So
But
I have a question for you. So
yeah,
last night, yesterday evening, I went to a little concert thing. I was a partial sponsor to this. It was called Music at the Mausoleum. It's an old cemetery in Clarksburg here, and of course a big mausoleum. It's a Masonic cemetery, and the steps like right in front of the mausoleum, they just set up a little, not a stage, but just a little area for guys to play some bluegrass. And one of the guys that was there, I'm not going to mention any names, but one of the guys that was there that was performing that I know pretty well, he starts walking around and spreading salt all over the place. And he's throwing it around himself, and he's just, you know, all around where they're going to play. Do you know what that's? I mean, he told me why, but like he didn't give me an explanation. You know, it was just kind of like an in passing kind of deal. But like, what's the significance of that?
Salt wards off evil.
Okay.
It's usually meant to keep dark entities and dark workers away. The old tale is that salt was used to keep witches away.
He would have been good to be on the show too, because with us because he after I asked him that he'd said that he had I don't want to say anything wrong because I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically things bother him sometimes, and he was basically just doing that for himself, so he wouldn't take anything home. That's what pretty much what I gathered. He would have
Yeah,
been good at this. I should have asked him to do this, but
yeah,
next
that's
time you can
yeah.
co-host with me when I have him on. But he's a really good. He plays banjo and plays guitar and stuff. He's really good.
I can't see much dark entities going to a bluegrass festival,
Well,
but
I mean, we were in a cemetery. We were in a cemetery,
yeah,
in the middle of a cemetery, right in front of a mausoleum, and I did go in the mausoleum, and I've never been in one. Like, I've never been. Usually they're just mausoleum is just outside and with the gravestones and stuff. You just see it, but you can. There's a door. I mean, a double door in there. You go right into it. It's been in there since like the 1900s or something.
Hmm.
And there's. It's just. It was creepy a little bit, but it was daytime, so it didn't spook me that much. But it was just kind of. It was neat. I guess. But it's just. Yeah. Because usually when you go to the cemetery, they're underground. Then but they're just stacked in there like crazy. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know. I'm trying to make light of it. But I wasn't able to stay the entire time for the entire show. But my buddy Sean that put on this event, he takes care of all the historic cemeteries around the area, and he did tours. He did some tours of the mausoleum, guided tours. So that would have been cool to just hear the history and who's buried there and things like that. Of course, if you're not from around here, you probably wouldn't really know not really anybody like super famous or anything, but still, it was neat. It
yeah.
was neat. Now, okay, so when you go to investigate things, I might have asked you this on the last show, but I don't remember, so I'm going to ask you again. When you go to investigate, do you? How am I going to ask this? I was asking the chat if those of you watching, there's some folks watching. If you have any questions for Isaac, now would be the time. He's a very good answerer of questions. I don't know what I'm getting at. Anyway, okay, so is activity for you heightened at a cemetery, or is it just the cliche or the saying it's a cemetery? Yes, there's people buried there and stuff. But I mean, does it matter where you're at to be able to do what you do? Basically, is what I'm trying to get at
No,
here.
it doesn't matter where I'm at. If something dark's there, I can feel it.
Yeah,
Vice versa as well. There's a lot of spirits are at one location. I can feel it as well. And then of course I have my wife, who of course knows if there's anything there by just talking and seeing. That's why us together, people always say that we're the perfect pair and perfect match to help do what we do. But graveyards, yeah, they're the old cliche of where spirits are. I'm not saying spirits aren't there. I'm just saying not as haunted as people make them out to be.
yeah.
It's the areas around cemeteries that most people don't even think about looking at. And often
What's that?
places of if a cemetery has a lot of history at a location, maybe a reason why the spirits might be upset at said location. If their bodies were moved, if there's some kind of buildings next to them, if there's like I say, if there's a cemetery, big one, in a prison or insane asylum, or even a hotel complex or apartment buildings built next to them, that's a lot of energy generating in one location. It's going to attract a lot of these spirits to there for the energy reasons.
There's a Hardee's next to this,
I would
and I
say
mean,
that's why,
and a
but
main thoroughfare, a main thoroughfare also. There's
yeah,
woods on everywhere else, but yeah, there's a Hardee's right next to it, and a main drag.
no, like you'd be surprised some of the places I go because my job, I work pest control, and it takes me
Nice.
around all around Onslow County where we live on East North Carolina area. And I would go to cul-de-sac neighborhoods, brand new neighborhoods that have no more than a year old. I
Yeah.
walk around, I go to someone knocking someone's door, all of a sudden I feel something and go, in fact, and I reach over like three houses down, like I feel something over there, and I pull it. I'm like, either that was there before the houses were there, or
Yeah,
somebody
probably.
called it there.
What would it be more likely to be, you think? Do you think, personally?
Well, where I live, I mean, granted, North Carolina is one of the first states ever, so a
True.
lot of deaths in history have
Lots of
been
history. Yeah.
here. So I wouldn't put it past, either a war or battlefield or something, or someone was murdered, heinous acts done back in the slavery days, or Native American stuff. It's a hard say. Or some of the kids were playing with a Ouija board, or you have someone that
Yeah, that's true.
likes the occult that brought something there, or something follow them home. I don't know. A lot of different reasons, but
Or
in
Indian
neighborhoods like
burial ground is a big thing around here. Indian burial grounds,
yeah, a lot of places that have been sacred sites that just kind of get piled over, and then they build an apartment complex on top of it.
We have a question in the chat. This person asking this question. I actually talked to on Instagram before I jumped on here. Rochelle is in the chat. She's a previous guest on the show. She was actually singing the song that we did at the intro.
Mm.
But she says, "Does Isaac ever get really scared?" And I think she's kind of jumping on the when I asked you, but I was kind of more asking you on the for your investigation, you know who the most scariest you fought, I guess, right? But do you ever get really scared at locations or anytime? You don't look like you would. You're a big dude, and you just don't take anything from anybody,
Well, it's not just that. I mean, I was always afraid of ghosts and demons when I was young and stuff like that. Because granted, the ranch I lived on when I was a kid, where I basically left when I was 19 to move out and live with somewhere else. Everything paranormal has ever happened to me on that ranch. But after my ability came to me, I understand now what's going on the other side. I can see, I can experience after meditating, getting in contact with my spirit guides, learning from them, hearing from what my wife sees, who we contact, what we talk to, all that stuff, all the information we've gained. And then besides, like I said, nothing dark has ever gotten close enough to touch me except for that one time. But after that, it's that was the only one time in 4 years, 4 years going to some of the darkest places, dealing with some of the most dangerous things on the planet, and that's the only time ever. And they took their shot at the king and they missed, right? They didn't take me out as I guess he wanted to. But no, I don't get scared anymore. When you carry an ability like mine that stops anything that would hurt you in their tracks, it's hard to be afraid what's out there. Now, dealing with people out in some locations I go to, that's the part I worry about the most. But then again, I carry at least three or four big knives on me just in case I have to defend myself
Yeah.
in any way. But I've gotten good at picking up on noises in the woods, like if that's a person walking or that's an animal or something like that. I spent enough time. Plus, at the ranch I lived on was in the middle of nowhere, so dealing with animals and different stuff like that, I have a tuned ear, as they say. But no, often I don't get scared. You can send me into the most dangerous, demon-infested, dark place, ancient castle or building that people see things, people have been scratched, thrown out of. Right?
What's
I've
that
heard the
island?
most
What's that island that's full of like skulls it's like
Bavalia.
yeah. What about that place? That would
I
be
would
creepy.
love to go there.
Seriously,
Yes.
normal people like well, I don't want to say normal people because that puts you in a thing, but
Yeah.
like somebody like me would not want to even be near there.
I want to go there just to see what I would go against, right? What dark entities are there
But
for
don't
me
people
to see.
don't like isn't people don't come back from there sometimes, right? Or something? Is it
That's
just
their
because they
whole
go
story.
crazy?
Yeah.
Or is that just some I don't know. But I think there's an island where there's just like a bunch of like dolls or something. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, in Mexico. Yeah.
would you go there?
Yeah.
See, I mm-mm.
Like there's this castle in Russia, I think, or somewhere around Russia. I want to say the Ukraine area, but around Russia is an old castle that supposedly has like the portal to hell and this giant well. That apparently they sent some guy down the well to see what's down there, and then when they pulled him up, his hair was all gray. He
Did he
aged like
volunteer to go? Or did they force him to go?
forced him
Because
to go. They had him with like a
nobody else
stick.
wanted to
You
go.
going down there? Yeah.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go. They're like, you're
Yeah.
going. The bullies,
Yeah.
the bullies in the school. Well, I want to show. Okay, so we'll show my clip, and then we'll take a break and listen to the song that you chose, and then when we come back, we'll look at all the evidence that you sent to me, and we'll talk about that. But okay, so a few months ago, the local news, news around here, um, came over to interview me about my show, which I thought was okay, awesome, And the host of that show, Lauren Winans, is also a singer. And I was like, well, we might as well just, I'd like to have you on my show too, so we'll just do it the same time. We'll do it the same day. So that's what we did. Well, when we were done and everybody they had left, um, I sat down and just like I usually do with the shows, and just make sure everything sounded good, and then I'll come back to it and make a clip. Well, sat down, I listened to the. I was asking her a question about something, and something answered it right before she did. And it's going to sound like to some people that it's her answering, but it's not her answering. It doesn't sound anything like her voice, and it's not Seth. She had her guitar player Seth with her, and it's definitely not him because it was a higher pitch. I don't know what it was, but I immediately said to Isaac, I took a clip out of that, and I was like, "What is this? What is going on here?" And you had told me, and then Megan looked at it, and she had sent me some stuff. But I'll go ahead and I'll play it for everyone, and then we can talk about it. But it was just it wasn't like freaky, but it was because I've never caught anything like that before. You're gonna see a lot of screens here. Just bear with me. There's it. Oh, Rochelle said Romania. Is that where one of the places is?
Yes, Romania. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the clip. Now it's kind of quick. I trimmed it down to 4 seconds, just that way so you don't hear the whole thing. But that's Lauren right there. Of course, that's me, and that's Seth. And here's me asking the question, and it's going to repeat that whatever I caught a couple times. Okay, you were in Nashville for a while. Should I play it again?
Yeah.
Okay, you were in Nashville for a while. That clicking, I don't know what that clicking is, but that wasn't in the thing. I think it was just because of the way I clipped the sound. But just that, she doesn't sound like that at all, not one bit. So so when I sent you that, what was your initial reaction to it? And kind of tell the folks what I could have scrolled back through Instagram to see what you wrote, but I just figured he's going to be on the show anyway. I might as well just ask him.
EVPs are put in classes A, B, C, right? A's being like clear, like you understand it. No one, everyone can listen to it and have the same. Okay, they said that. B, a little more subjective, a little more grainy, stuff like that. C, you hear it clearly, but no one can 100% say what they heard. Everyone has it. Oh, it sounds like this. Oh, it sounds like that. Oh, it sounds like that. That is a class C. You can hear there's something there, but what it said, I don't know. Megan has her own thing. What I said, it sounds like to me like whoever that. It's like a woman, an older woman, agreeing, like, or she's saying a name, right? Turn in, turn in, turn in, something like that. Turn in. That's what I thought was the first thing she said, but relating to what was going into the situation, it has to be somewhat related to it. Maybe she was watching what the interview was, and then of course Megan, I think she's in the chat or not, but she was saying that she remote viewed to your home to see who was there, and she saw an older woman.
She even sent me a
Followed,
picture.
yeah, followed by she said there's like a shadow around her.
And
Yeah,
she was standing in front of a staircase also,
yeah,
but which is weird because I don't have any staircases here other than like a couple going into the house, but there's
yeah.
no like staircase. But yeah, just it's interesting, and I didn't just send it to you just to see what you'd come up with. Yes, Megan's is in the chat, she said. But
Yeah.
but it's just nothing bothers me here. I've never had anything weird. I have a cat, so like if I hear a sound, it's probably him. And I know his sleeping patterns all the time is he's a cat, but like nothing like strange happens here. But I guess nothing has to happen strangely, right? For something to be here. I don't know how does that work.
Everyone thinks a haunting is, well, not everyone, but most people think a haunting has something have to negative wrapped around it. That's not always the case. It could always be just a human spirit that's drawn to a certain location, or maybe they were always there and you just, finally found out, hey, hey, there's something here, stuff like that. It could be a regular human spirit. And Megan said she doesn't seem malevolent in the least bit. She's just kind of there. Um, and judging from her attire, I think Megan said it's like the Victorian area or something like that,
Yeah.
the way she dressed. But she said the shadow that was around her, that was kind of following her, that's what essentially was negative. But that could have been left over from anyone who you visited, anyone you talked to. Um,
Anyone that Danny's brought over here, right?
probably. or anything. He has always got all this stuff in his car. Um,
Yes.
it could
Yep.
be a trove of things, and that's what legit happens. Like a spirit might hang on with somebody for a little bit, and then they might like this one location. Hey, I want to hang out here. All right, maybe she likes music, and you always have music playing. Granted,
Always,
not her
yeah.
probably her taste, but um,
She likes it now.
yeah, stuck
Yeah.
with it. But there's also what happens sometimes with I call them tourists, spirits that stop by for a little bit, check the place out, live there for maybe 6 7 months, maybe a year, and then they leave without any explanation other than the fact that they were just interested in you or what was going on at the time.
I thought it was neat to get something like that. I mean, like
Yeah,
I couldn't explain it, and that's what you're the first person I thought of. I was like, I wonder if this is even anything. I mean, it could have just been nothing, you know. But you can, you know, as an investigator, you guys hear that stuff better than somebody that doesn't hear that stuff all the time, like me. You know.
it's. I remember we talked about this on one of the recent episodes we did on the podcast. I think I said that when you hear an EVP, or even when you hear spirits with your normal ear out in the world, stuff like that, it doesn't sound like human voice. When you hear us speak, it almost sounds like you're hearing a person through a filter. Either it's like a static radio filter, or like you're hearing them through like some kind of screen or something. It's not 100% clear. Now, people have heard a voice 100% clear-ish to the clearest they can hear, but there's always a weird distinctiveness that tells you this is not a person alive. And that gives you the goosebumps. That sort of stands your hair on ends because it gives you that uncanny valley feeling when you see something that looks human but isn't. When you hear something that is human but isn't at the same time, it's that sensation that you know sounds like a person, but yet it's I know this person's alive. There's something wrong with the vocal patterns that you hear. And of course, years of being a musician like myself and then listening to audio stuff doing the podcast, I've learned to distinguish audio and voice and when I hear it and stuff like that. So when I hear something, because we used to catch a lot of EVPs in the podcast
Just
a
gonna ask
long
you if
time
you've
ago.
ever caught anything unintentionally, you know, like just
Yeah.
by audio wise.
And you hear it and you go, that wasn't me or Megan. And that was nothing in the room. So that had to be something else entirely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely sounded like something different than it didn't sound like anybody that was here, and that's why I sent it to you guys. You're the experts, not me. You know.
But we
Yeah.
caught a lot over our time doing the podcast. A lot. It doesn't happen as
Yeah.
much now as it used to, but it was like every other episode we recorded, there was an EVP or two or three in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Isaac does put or used to play some music. You were what was their band called? I cannot remember.
There's a deathcore band called Aurorian.
That's right. Yeah,
Aurorean. Yeah,
yes.
Aurorian.
Very good
Um,
stuff too. I remember we listened to some of it on the last show
there's a few tracks floating around on I'm sorry on YouTube right
on
now.
YouTube. Yeah.
Other than that, you can't find it anywhere else. But there's some live footage too of me for playing with a band that I was part of when I first started playing in San Antonio, Texas, called Saturday Night Massacre.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. What a
yeah,
great name.
I was young. I think I was like 22
It
when
sounds
I
like a
played
movie title, really. You know?
Saturday Night Massacre. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played bass for I've been playing bass for like 16 years.
Wow.
And I played for death metal, deathcore bands majority of the time. That's why I picked the song that you're going to play
Yeah, I
because
know. It didn't shock me one bit because I know your style. I know what you know, kind of what you like. But yeah, we'll listen to that here in a second. I want to get this out of the way just so we don't have to, you know, it's since you're on the show, I don't like to plug too much stuff, but I pretty much have the week where I'm not doing anything this week as of right now. Sometimes it changes. But Saturday, I have a band coming back with the show. They're a previous band from Thunder Bay, Ontario, called Ultimatum. I believe we're going to do that show at 4 p.m. And then Sunday, the very next day, Foamer from Pittsburgh will be on at 7 p.m. So that will be fun. And then I'm leaving town for a little bit. So I'm not the. I mean, I'll check in and stuff, but I'm going on a little tour with a band, and I'm going to be filming behind the scenes stuff for an upcoming documentary that they would like to do. They tour all the time. They're a touring band. They tour all the time. They're actually in. I think they're in Corpus Christi last night. So they're going through Texas. I can't remember where they're at tonight, but they're still down that way. Then they're going to be making their way towards Florida, and then they're coming up. I'm going to meet them in Charlotte on the 6th. 5th or the 6th, I can't remember. Um, Meeting them in Charlotte, and then I'm going to follow them up to Chesapeake, Virginia, which is basically going right past you, right? You're on that stretch somewhere, right? You're in what? Are you in Cary? Is that where you are?
No, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacksonville. But we're going up to Chesapeake, Virginia, and then I'm going to follow them to Baltimore, and then up to Mechanicsburg, PA, and then that's it. That's the last of their tour. So I'm getting them on the last 4 dates of their tour, just because they're probably sick of each other by now. You know, they've done this since the beginning of October, so they've been on the road for about a month, and I'm going to capture what people don't see, and I'm going to have to tie my hands behind my back because I'm going to want to help them like load their stuff, and but I can't. I have to film what they go through, So that'll be fun to do. I'll be gone. I'll be gone for like a week, then I'll be back. And I don't have anybody lined up after the thing. I just kind of wanted to schedule up to that point for now, and then go do that and come back and stuff. But I did just buy a truck that gets 15 miles a gallon, so that's gonna suck.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got hit by a box truck, Isaac.
Wow.
My other truck I got hit by a box truck. He smashed the entire. I was fine. Like it wasn't. I didn't get injured. Nobody got injured or anything. But I was at a dead stop because I saw him coming. So I got all the way over as far as I could to the right, and completely stopped. And he came around that curve and just. And he gets out and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention." $14,000 in damage.
No. It was a company truck, or is it just him?
Oh, it was well, his or mine. But both for us. But yeah, but it was my daily driver also. So like, when I would go out of town and stuff, that's what I would drive. But his was a box truck by his own company. He does flooring and stuff. But I was like,
no.
Well, wasn't paying attention. But you're driving a massive box truck.
Yeah, okay. You got a giant window, dude.
My goodness. But so I'm okay. Everything's fine. I had 3 separate incidents. I'm not going to say accidents because they weren't my fault, but 3 separate incidents in that last vehicle I had, and none of them were my fault. None of them. None of them. So I got rid of that thing because it was cursed, I think. You would have had a field day pulling whatever was evil around that thing.
Is there shit on here? No, there's no shit on here.
Okay, so Isaac, I had him pick a song to play to just kind of do a little break in the show here before we go into his evidence, and I wasn't surprised. But as soon as I heard this, I was like, "Holy crap!" And I can't believe I haven't heard of this band either. But I think I looked up their Instagram; they got like 100 and something thousand followers or something. So chances are I probably wouldn't have them on. I just don't get that caliber bands on here, which is fine.
They're from Vancouver.
They're what?
They're from Vancouver.
Like the Canada one?
Yeah.
Or Washington or whatever it is? Yeah.
Yeah, Vancouver. Yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Rochelle might know who they are. Do you know of Archspire, Rochelle? They're very fast. Very fast. And I can't believe that this is a real drummer. You said this is a real drummer. You're actually looking for one now. So if you can play shit like this, then you might have a job if you get a hold of them. The song is called, is it Abandoned Linear? Is that the one?
Yeah, Abandoned Linear.
Okay. Take a break. We'll take a break here and we'll listen to Archspire. You're not gonna be able to take a break because these guys are just brutally fast. But it's a damn good song. I have no idea what the guy's saying in the song, but it's okay. It's all right. But we'll come right back and we'll check with or we'll look at Isaac's evidence, which is very good stuff. that's just not fair. I mean, like there's that's real drums. You're sure?
Yeah, I watched a live footage of him playing that song.
My
Right?
goodness
Yeah,
gracious, that's
his
crazy.
his 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 drum, his the way he rolls on the snares and stuff like that. Like,
His feet have to be going like this or something,
yeah,
like jelly. My goodness. Hey, Black Smoke Paranormal is in the chat, and they say, "What up, Isaac?"
yo,
And he says, he or she says, "Shit's giving me anxiety." I agree with that
that
wholeheartedly.
song.
Yes. Julie's also in the chat, and she puts smiles. And Rochelle says, "No, but I will look them up." Talking about Archbishop
Archspire, yeah. No,
or Archspire. I'm sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
Archspire.
it's I'm starting actually the last year or so. Well, I would say around
Goodness.
June or so. I've been really getting into like the tech death and technical death metal stuff because it actually helps my mind focus because being on the spectrum of high functioning ADHD, I'm always thinking miles a minute, and now I'm
Yeah.
listening to music that matches the pace of what I'm listening to. So like, holy shit! So I started getting into aborted and other tech death bands. Because Black Diamond Murder has always been on top of my list. When I heard Archspire, I was like, holy shit, man! I was like, look at that
Now,
bass.
and the other parts aren't easy either. I mean, that
No,
bass player is just going all over. Can you play it along with
no,
that song? Have you
I've
tried to
never
play
been able to
along?
play at that level of speed and technicality. Because when I heard that, I was like, oh damn! And it's funny
Yeah.
is that when I first heard that song and that bass solo, that whole part, that melody, the
Hmm.
first images came to my head were like a wizard doing magic in the woods, like
Yeah.
Mars explosions and shit.
I'm sure they have videos out. I'm gonna have to check that and see if they have wizardry happening.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like a wizard in the woods going, bam, bam, stuff like that.
Something, yeah, with like
Yeah,
this flame, just flames going everywhere, but everybody's happy. Like everybody's just
yeah.
so happy about it. Julie also says feet have to look like the Roadrunner. I mean, like probably faster than that. I don't know how that happens on double bass. I mean that has to be like a. I know somebody came up with a triple bass at one point. I don't know if that
Yeah.
took off, but it would have to be more than that. You would think. I mean, that's just and it's right on the beat. It's right where it should be. Like nothing is out of place. It's and even the snare rolls. That guy's. Why did they get rid of him? Or did that guy leave? Was he
He left.
tired? He was
I
tired.
think he retired. I think it wasn't like he had left on bad terms or something like that. I think he was tired of the tour. He was
He was
tired of like
exhausted from playing one song.
probably. But yeah, they were holding auditions. I was following their TikToks, and they were like all these drummers singing and stuff. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are up to par with the speed and what needs to be and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna find somebody to fill in and stuff like that because they
That's
they tour the United States, they tour the world. They've gone a lot of places. They've been on tours with major bands. Then there was a Black Dahlia and other the top like tech deck bands on there and stuff
yeah.
like that. So
Yeah. Well, okay, it's time to look at your evidence, and now I've seen this stuff. I've seen it already, but it's it's magical. No, I'm kidding. Okay, let me go into my area here where I gotta go. Okay. Um, Now, yep. You see yourself chatting. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me get out of that. Now, this is the first one. Explain to the folks what's happening here.
that is a still from a video. Now, the beginning of the video, because I wear a body cam when I do investigations, because I can't hold a camera because I need both my hands out. Uh, and that is a shot from a still from when I pulled. Now, I wish the whole video would play, but Megan just got the shot. But my hand in a night vision camera is normal, as everyone else's is. And I reached out and I caught something. That's where you see my hand grip, like I'm holding a cup in my hand.
Right here. Yep.
That's my hand gripping, and that's because I have something. If you watch a video, because we have this video posted on our Instagram,
Okay.
you hear me say "gotcha," and I have whatever it is, and of course I focus in the ring. But when I had it in my hand, this white glowing mist around my entire arm, from fingertips all the way down the entire area, was coating my arm in that shot. And when my hand moved away, and I said into the ring, and I bring my hand back, it's gone. That mist, whatever was there for that brief moment. Because you see my hand prior to it, I reach out, say "gotcha," and I bring it back around, and that mist is there. And then I push it into the ring and and put my hand back, and that mist is gone.
This
But
looks like an
only
extent. Is that part of whatever that is? Because you know what you're saying. Your hands in a grip, so like you wouldn't your index finger would not be extended right there, right? You would be around something. So is that something extra there, or is that your finger?
that should be my thumb.
Oh, that's okay.
You
Yeah.
see, I guess it's like that. My thumb is curving in.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's yeah. I wish we had the video. For some reason, we couldn't get that transferred over, but it's okay. It's okay. It's definitely compelling. And so okay, so where was this? Where did this take place?
The park near where we live, we've investigated many times. That was like the first time when we went there. The second time we investigated that location, we found witches' brooms hanging in the trees.
What?
Yeah, yeah, little tiny witches' brooms hanging on both sides of a path. Um,
That's
and then these burned circle marks in the ground, beginning of the trail where we started, because we went down the trail and then we came back. And when we came back, like 2 hours later, there's these brown 3 foot in radius burn marks in the ground in a branch that broke off from the top of a tree. These trees in North Carolina are like 2 stories tall, snapped off and fell down to the ground near where these burn marks were. And we're like, was this here when we started? And we look back at the footage when we started, there was no burn marks in the grass. And we're like, where the hell did these come from? And that was also finding on the wooden path that we have to take to get around. There's 2 paths. There's one through the woods and a one like a wooden bridge, just like a little wood bridge path that goes out on the swamp area where we like to investigate. Um, well, Megan just send me a text. You want to share any of these videos? I can try.
yeah.
Uh, there's a wooden path that goes off across the water. We had to take the wooden path across the water because the main path was flooded. And when we went our way through, taking that same path, and we make our way back, there was a board in the middle of the path with a nail shooting up. That
Oh,
if someone stepped on, would have run right into their foot. That wasn't there when we came back the first time. When we first went through there, that wasn't there. We came back again, believing it was
jeez.
there, as someone was in the park trying to injure us.
I mean, is that? How do you explain that?
Fucking not. We
I mean,
found like homeless people's clothes and tents, like well, not tents per se, but like
like a
pieces
shelter.
of for, like clothes and stuff that of trash, and maybe someone was living in the park. But where we found it was on the other side of the little river area that separates the main park from a little tiny swamp marshland areas that go into like little almost like miniature islands in a sense like that. But it's no more than like 3 feet away from each other, and
Yeah.
there's a little wooden bridge that connects them. But after since we had the hurricane that happened here, Florence, like 6, 7 years ago,
Hmm.
most of those areas have been destroyed. The bridges, anyway, you can't get across them, and the city doesn't want to spend the time repairing them because it's just for a park. We give a shit.
Now that last hurricane, Helene didn't come over to your side of the state, right? That
No,
was
that was all the way in the west.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that awful, awful. Okay, so the next one um, would be this one, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what is happening here.
See the face?
Would that be right here
Yeah,
ish? Okay. Should I go to the next one also?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's I guess
Work
that would
quick.
be the first one, and then that would be the second one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you know that you caught? Okay, so for people that are skeptics, not really like me, I guess like me a little bit, but for people that don't know what to look for when they take pictures, say they want to try to start investigating. Also, what are they looking for in these pictures that we say, okay, well, this is definitely something. What are they looking for?
You're looking for something that doesn't look normal, that looks out of place, and you're trying to judge whether or not what you're seeing is just I forgot that psychology term when you're making faces out of things that aren't really there just because your eyes are seeing it that way. You're trying to differentiate that from other things. But catching, if you look down to the bottom section, all the way down, right? If you go, you see
Oh,
it
wait,
like
okay.
you see
Right here.
almost like an eyes in the face down at the bottom area. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
You focus on that spot, you can see it. Megan was the one that peeked it out. It's almost like he's peeking around the corner.
Should I? Okay. I'll go back to this one.
But this the first shot is her here,
Oh,
bringing
wait,
the
down
color.
here? Is that what you're talking about?
No, to the left.
Over here. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, I see it
yeah,
now. Right there.
yeah,
Two eyes and a mouth, and the mouth is open.
yeah,
Right there. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
took me a minute to. Yeah, I
uh,
mean, like I was looking up here the whole time. The whole time I was looking up here, even when you sent me those. So so basically, this is the before picture. That's nothing's there, right?
yeah. Well, you barely see it, but she was able to figure it out. Like pick something out from there.
That's crazy. Now, do you remember the part of the investigation that this was? That was there anything happening audibly or anything?
No, we were just there at night, and Megan was taking pictures. She usually takes pictures, but yeah, she caught a hooded figure in one of our daytime shots that she took care of. That I thought was really good.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm not as freaked out as I was on the last show with Danny. I don't know what it is. It's just it's interesting. You know, it's very interesting. All right, let's go to this next one now. I think I have these in the right order. So this here looks like a drain tunnel or something similar, right? Is that what that would be?
Yeah.
Okay, so is this the one at Camp Lejeune?
Yes, this one we were at Camp Lejeune. At this location where you're looking is we there's this trail that goes behind this the housing neighborhood area, and there's a big like a big fell fallen down tree that creates kind of like a natural bridge that connects over to a giant drainage area um, at these behind these houses. And we were told about this the first time we went with the family that brought us onto the base in the first place. They told us, hey, a lot of kids hang out back there, and they've always talked about hearing creepy stuff.
Oh, so let's go figure out what it is, right?
Yeah,
So you're going through this tunnel of sorts, and I'm not sure what this is depicting, but I guess this is more of the tunnel. And then we get to the last. Whoops, we get to the last slide. What the heck is that?
that's what was caught in the back of the uh,
Did was it making any
ring.
noises or anything when you were there? Or is this something you caught afterwards? Again,
That's something we caught while we are there. Now we had the oldest daughter of the couple that brought us on. She was taking pictures too and stuff like that.
what is that?
Uh, and that's what she caught because there. My wife was taking pictures. So Megan was she was trying to record stuff on a digital recorder. Um, but yeah, that's what she caught down there. Stuff
Now
when
that you guys don't use flash, right? Usually
that
when
was a
you're
flash shot.
okay, that was whoops, that was
Yeah,
a flash shot. Okay,
yeah.
so but aren't there times when you don't use that at all, or you not catch anything when you don't use flash?
Well, during the day you can, and then if you take pictures at night without flash, you can try to catch stuff if the moonlight's bright enough, or if there's a natural lighting. But often, if you don't use flash, it's hard to really see anything.
You know what that reminds me of, Isaac? I know you probably remember this here. So you remember this shot?
Yeah,
Okay, so and then oops, that it reminds me of that there,
yeah.
whatever that is. This is at the insane asylum, the lunatic hospital in West Virginia. That's just creepy. I kind of want to play. I kind of want to play Shannon. Remember this one?
Yeah.
You care if I play this one?
No.
Okay, this is my friend Shannon Jones. She was on one of the early episodes of Keep Me Alive, playing here a long time ago. She's a very good singer songwriter, and apparently she has things that happen at her house every now and again, and it doesn't bother her. So she doesn't, you know, doesn't really want it to leave because who cares? It doesn't bother her. But kind of pay attention up in this area for this video. And she's a very good singer, and you'll hear that in this clip also.
My my girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me where did you sleep?
If anybody didn't see it,
You got an orb flying around
yeah,
there.
I'll move up I'll try. Okay, here you go again.
My girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me where did you sleep?
I think that's a very compelling clip. You know, especially and you know that makes me not so much of a skeptic because it's somebody I know. And she just posted that to Facebook, and she actually put it in the description of the video. She said, "Yes, I know there's an orb there. It's fine, you know." But I immediately sent her a message. I was like, "That's because I'd met Danny shortly around that time, and I was like, you should call my buddy." And she's like, "No, it doesn't bother anything in the house. I just know it's here." You know, and that's kind of what you were saying. You know, it doesn't always have to bother people. It just might be passing through, right?
Yeah. You hope it's Kurt Cobain liking the song.
Yeah. You hope so, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I know the chat was going crazy over here. So Megan says he was coming through on the spirit box. So when she was talking when we were on because there's a little bit of latency, you know, between us and YouTube. while we're taking photos, and there should be clearer photos that shows a close up at the camp at Camp Lejeune when they drained all of the devices. She said. So they
Yes,
drained the
that
batteries.
voice that was heard. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So she was just kind of chatting along with the screen share. But yeah,
Uh,
that stuff is nuts. Man, I wish we could play the videos of it, but you say they're up on your Instagram. That'll get people to go to your Instagram because that's really what we need to do. You know, is get people to go to your. That's the whole point of this, right? Is to get people to go and
yeah, perfect.
follow you guys and you know check out what you guys investigate because I mean it is compelling. You know, whether you're a skeptic or not, it's cool. There's something else. What I mean, and what is it? Who knows? But I think it's getting with a lot of a lot more investigators coming out and catching some cool stuff. It's you got to have an open mind about it and like there's got to be something else, some kind of other energy, and it's awesome that you can pick up on what you can pick up on, and so can Megan, and it's just and you're helping people too. You're helping people move on with their life with something that's been bothering them for a long time. You know.
Megan said she sent you a video on your Instagram.
Yes, but I can't pull that up on my. See,
Oh.
yeah. I'm on my, but I will. Okay, do me a favor, folks. If you're not on Instagram, go get an account. Do you have these on Facebook also?
I don't know.
Put them on Facebook
Yeah.
or YouTube. Are you on YouTube?
I know we're on YouTube, but Megan has yet to put a collection of everything. As I say, really only respond is either TikTok or Instagram.
Okay. I will post your all's link to Instagram in the description when we get done here. That way, if you don't have an Instagram, just go get that and just go subscribe to me and him. That's it. And then watch his or not subscribe. I'm sorry. Follow on Instagram. Follow Hidden in the Shadows and follow Acute Mania Lab also. But watch these things because I mean I'm gonna watch them when we get done because I want to see this stuff. You know, I'm gonna see where you said gotcha. That's creepy also, but still, you know, that's a victory for you, right?
And one of the weirdest videos up there on the Instagram that we recorded that she posted is I did something I call the triangle pull, where I put 3 points of energy in like a triangle, a big triangle, right? And I connect them between both my hands, all 5 tendrils connected between the 3 points, creating a giant sort of vortex of energy circulating that I can pull everything in one location to one center point. And then after I got it all kind of accumulated at one time, I reach in with my right hand, pull the energy out, and therefore put in the ring. First time I tried this at that set park. It was a day after, or it was a day early in the day. It was a stormy. It rained a lot, a little bit of wind. So while we were there, we heard little gusts of wind, like every now and then, right? When I started this triangle pool, the wind kicked up to almost hurricane level winds, and you can hear it through the body cam. You hear the wind blowing really, really, really hard and really fast. And then the second I reach in my right hand to grab and pull dark energy that I collected, the wind shuts off. As someone flicked a switch.
Jeez. You have a video like that?
Yeah.
There?
Now you don't see anything, but you hear it. And I was surprised while I was experiencing it. I was like, "Holy crap!" And then when we watch the footage back, you can hear the winds like blowing heavy. And then when I reach in my right hand, it goes shuts off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get that. Send me a link of that if you will, Megan. Or just send it to me. You can send it to me on the screen. That's fine.
Yeah. And then another, probably our most profound evidence we've ever caught was footage of us going back to a place called Patsy's Pond. It's a sinkhole. It has a lot of natural sinkholes in this place, and there's a lot of trails, natural trails and stuff like that. But we set up a camera in a tree just because Megan had the intuition to do so. I was worried about getting stolen, but then again, no one was really out here, so it's fine. And we had it hanging in a tree. And when we left, we went down the trail, and then we came back and picked up afterwards. When we look back at the footage, we caught the head of someone running by, but there's no one out there. No one. And the way the person was running, it seemed like a kid, like maybe like 14 or 15. There shouldn't be a teenager kid that young out there by himself, let alone running on the trail with no one out there at 11 o'clock at night, but he wasn't running out of the park or out of the trailhead area.
Man.
He was running into it.
Oh man.
And
No,
it's
I'd be done. I'd be like, all right, let's go home. I'm done with this.
like, the weird is his haircut was odd too. It was like a weird, like bowl bob haircut kind of thing, right? And we looked at old pictures of indigenous people that were in the area of the time, and the
No,
haircut matches.
seriously.
Yeah, matches.
All right, well, that's a good show. That's crazy though. I mean, man. And I got nothing.
Yeah, that was like, oh shit, we actually finally caught a distinctive ghost on our cameras. We never done that before. That was a good moment. Because the weird thing too is that this kid, where he was running from, he would have to pass us on the trail.
Yeah,
He would
nothing
have to
passed him.
pass us. There's no way of getting from where he was coming from and where we were going.
If it
if
was
we
a real
wouldn't-
person, you're saying if it was a real
Yeah, if it's a real person.
human
Yeah.
being, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Now I've been telling. Okay, those of you who don't know, this Danny fellow we were talking about, we've been talking about the whole show. Danny Strakel, a good friend of mine, is a paranormal investigator, and he was on the last show when I was on. He was right here with me and co-hosting and stuff, and he'd he'd just done a he did investigation at this lady's house, and they trapped, what did he say, they trapped the entity into this one mirror. I guess apparently this lady collected antique mirrors, and if you know anything about the paranormal and the investigating world, that's a portal, or could be, right, a mirror, right? That's it. So
Yeah.
he took it out of this lady's house, and that the next night he was going to come here and do the show with me. He had it in his trunk and parked in my driveway, and that night on the show when Isaac was on, my camera completely shut off. And that never happened. It did the other night, but this is a different camera. This is a totally different camera than when Isaac was on. And the camera just shuts off, and it never did that I had it almost 2 years that I had that camera. Never ever shut off on me, and it did. And when it did, I still at that point I had no idea that he had a haunted mirror in his trunk in my driveway. So that's why we're talking about Danny and making jokes about him. But now he's got, his stuff is called Spirit Walk Paranormal. I got to give him a shout out since we're talking about him. But he constantly puts stuff out. You guys constantly put stuff out, and you guys have a busy week. Go ahead and plug your stuff. Where can people find you? What can they see this week, especially for Halloween coming up?
Well, we're gonna be doing investigations all this week because my sister, who I always say there's only 3 people in the world that I know of right now whose ability level is on par with mine when it comes down to taking down dark entities. It's myself, my wife, and of course my sister Julie. And she's actually visiting us this week from Florida. And she's helped us remotely with a lot of cases, taking down dark entities and stuff like that. And she's come across things that I'm like, holy crap. And the things she's able to take down and stuff like that. But all 3 of us in one haunted location at the same time, oh, I can almost guarantee shit's going to start going down. But we have a place that we're going to Tuesday. It's kind of like our Halloween special, you would say. Now, we're probably going to do a live walkthrough of said location at the day of, probably in the afternoon. And then we're not going to do a live for the investigation itself, but record all the footage. And then Megan's going to put all that footage together to later release by the end of the week on our YouTube and stuff like that, Hidden Shadows Paranormal, to release at the end of the week so people can see everything we did and what we captured. And like I said, all 3 of us together in one location, especially the location that we're going to.
Is it undisclosed, or are you gonna? Or have you told anybody where you're going yet?
We haven't told anybody where we're going. Not until the day of, just because we don't want anyone to
Contamination, things like that.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a place that most people think, really, that place, really? But
what, Walmart? Walmart?
no, that's essentially Walmart, right? It's just like really, I never heard anything about this place. Like, okay, but the location was told to me in a vision, you can say. I was meditating on it. I had the question around, well, where should we go? And then I got the image of the name, which didn't make any sense, but I looked for something to look for similar to it, and I found it. Like, holy crap. And we looked up the history of this location, and it has a lot of indigenous ties, a lot of Native American ties. So I always said, what we talked about last time. I think I mentioned my 6 names, the 6 titles I gained over my time being an investigator. One of them being Ashwakanatunka. That indigenous name has been called to me by indigenous spirits in investigations we've done here on the East Coast area. And then, of course, my friend in Vancouver with Unknown Paranormal, Mike, when he investigates over there in indigenous locations, he's asked them, do you know the name Ashwakanatunka? And they've come over to Spirit Box saying, ah, yes, he is king. So they recognize the name. Indigenous spirits from one side of our country to the other side, and another whole other country, know the name Ashwakanatunka. So there's some more mystery to that name than what we know. So us going into a heavily indigenous location with a name like mine, we're guaranteed to catch stuff. So, but yeah, we're gonna probably release that footage at the end of the week. We're gonna do the investigation Tuesday, and then we might have lives throughout the week of us investigating with Julia certain places we've been through before, just to get her take on said location.
Now, where can people find you when it's not Halloween? What's your normal podcast schedule, things like that? What do you guys normally do?
For the podcasts, we try to release once a week, but if we're doing cases and stuff like that, it might get pushed out. But yeah, you listen to Hidden Shadows podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. We've talked about everything paranormal, mostly everything paranormal. We do dabble in little cryptid stuff and some conspiracies, but majority of it's paranormal. And you hear our perspectives on it and sometimes our experience with said subject. So, but yeah, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find our socials at Hidden Shadows Podcast on Instagram, Hidden Shadows Podcast 2 on TikTok, or Hidden Shot 6 on X, or links to all our social media, all ways you can listen to us at hiddenshadowspodcast.com. Hidden Shadows Paranormal on YouTube, and I believe Instagram as well. I think we have a TikTok, a bit short, but yeah, it'd be Hidden Shadows Paranormal as well.
Nice. Or just search for it. Just search for it. It's there. If you're on a platform and you're looking for their stuff, it's probably there. Or you can be direct. I don't know. Just Google it. It'll give you everything. Google does everything, right?
Yeah. I'd be surprised when people find us on Google. I'm like, really? And they go
Have you
that
ever looked
popular.
up? Okay, so on your website, I don't know if you can get analytics on your website. I can get a few on mine, but if you bring up like the Google or the search the SEO, I guess that's what they call it, the search history, what people search when they look for you.
Yeah.
Mine is a lot of people misspelling acute for some strange reason. I mean, and then some people not putting in it in an I in mania. It's like mana. It's like acute mana. But it'll show me what people have searched and how many people have searched that. But then it brings them to the page somehow. I don't know what that stuff means. There's analytics for everything. It sucks. It's like watching Wall Street. Like watching your stock market. Stupid. Anyway, speaking of analytics, though, I've been doing this more and more lately, and I actually gained 9 subscribers the other night on the show. Now, you and Megan, I'm sure you're subscribed, Isaac. I'm going to give that. That's probably a given. I'm going to give that one to you. But Megan, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe also to my channel. Do that. And all of you in the chat, I know Rochelle's probably a subscriber. See, some of the people you see, it gives me notifications for some people that subscribe, but for majority of them, it doesn't. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, damn it, do it. It helps. It really helps with more than analytics. It helps with a lot of things. It helps me. It helps the show. And then, I mean, you can do either one of them first, but go to Hidden in the Shadows podcast and subscribe to them. Go follow them on everything because it really does help. It really does. We're creators. We're trying to be creative for you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I acquired this voice recently, and I don't know why. Maybe something's attached to me, but I'm going to keep doing it because I don't care. I will be back. When will I be back? What did I say? Next Saturday? Next Saturday at 4 p.m. with Ultimatum from Thunder Bay, Ontario. They are a previous guest. Gosh, when was I can't remember the last time they were on, but hopefully we'll get to meet the entire band this time because it was just one the last time. And, I got to meet the entire band, especially if they're coming back. I mean, what's wrong with you? Come sit and talk about ghosts. We'll talk about ghosts. That's what we'll do. Have you ever been to Thunder Bay, Ontario, Isaac?
Farthest west I've been is California. As far as east I've been, I grew up in Texas, so I haven't gone very north.
It's the weather's not very good there. It's cold a lot through the year.
I like the cold, so yeah.
But there's an island or a landmass or something, and you can look at this up on the internet. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it looks like a giant laying on its back, sleeping giant, something like that. But that's exactly what it looks like when you look at the pictures of it. Just a So I'm sure we'll talk about that again. It's pretty neat. But we'll talk to Ultimatum again on Saturday at 4 p.m. And then on Sunday we will yet another Pittsburgh band is on. But it's just going to be Noah, the founder and the lead guy of Foamer, and it's really good shit. I just saw him in Pittsburgh recently when I went up to see a show. So we will talk to Noah on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us if you can. I will put the bloody candle away. That thing is badass, isn't that thing cool?
Yeah.
$5. Dollar General. There's a plug. There's a plug right there. Sponsored by Dollar General. Actually, I'm not.
You wish.
Don't sue me. Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
See, these gorgeous decorations came from Dollar General because it's right up the road. That very awful web stuff. It's going to be difficult to take it off of the soundproof foam, but whatever. The lights I might keep up for Christmas. It's just little ghosts. Who cares? And a spider. It's not real. And Phil joined us. Phil's always in the studio, though. He's always sitting close by. Why did I name him Phil? Is that what you asked me? Why did I name him Phil? Did you ask me that?
Phil Labonte?
No, Phil was filling in for a buddy of mine that was supposed to be sitting here for a show, and he couldn't make it. But I had him all set up with the microphone and everything. And then I was like, well, I guess Bo couldn't make it. So Phil was right there on the floor, so I picked him up and put him right there on the seat, and he co-hosted with me the entire show. So I named him Phil. He was filling in.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, wait, yeah. So since you were on the last time, I got a new mixer, Isaac. And this is going to be a little late, but okay.
There you go.
So that last mixer I had only had room for 2 samples. This one has 36. Like spots where I could put anything I want to. And I haven't. It's still the factory sound effects. Some of them I've erased because they were just dumb. Yeah. So, over time I will fill it up. Did we talk about hot dogs when you were on? I don't think we did. It was Landmarks, wasn't it? Yeah. You escaped. I think it was Landmarks because I found that thing with the stuff hanging from the trees. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So but before that, I used to talk about hot dogs. I called it the wiener segment, and that was the other. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. All right. Isaac, thank you again for coming back. Let's do it again. Let's do it every Halloween from now until we die, and even after we're dead, we'll do it.
Well, where I'll be.
I'm kidding. I'm just trying to be spooky because of Halloween. Happy Halloween. Have a nice Halloween. You guys are gonna be busy, but I know you're gonna have fun. That's what you guys do.
Yep.
This is your time of the year. This is like your,
Yeah, a lot of new episodes we're posting, trying to get as much out this month alone because everyone's listening to paranormal podcasts, trying to get into the mood. A couple of bonus episodes. I've been on a lot of different podcasts doing interviews as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's the shit. I'm glad you guys are still doing the damn thing. Let's do it again next year, and maybe we'll do the panel thing like we talked about for this year. I know it was kind of tough when we had to do it, but everybody's busy during the holiday season, right? When I was at Dollar General earlier, there was already Christmas. There was already Christmas stuff out.
Womp womp.
It's right around the corner. I'm surprised they weren't playing Christmas music when I was there. Anyway, thank you all for chatting also, and for watching the show. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. I will see the numbers as soon as we get done here. I will see that, so I will know. I will hunt you down. Or I'll have Isaac hunt you down remotely, or however.
That's Megan.
Isaac, thanks again, man. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Playing us out of the show tonight is a band I just found, not last night, the night before, just coming across Instagram. They're called Gloomchild, and they're from Florida. And I just sent them an email to be on the show, so hopefully we'll get them on here pretty soon. I'm going to play a song from their newest album that just came out called Midnight in Limbo, and the song is called Reject Myself. So we'll listen to that, and I will be back next Saturday unless something happens. You know, sometimes I'll schedule somebody and they'll pop up in the middle of the week. Who cares? Let's do the show, you know? I will see you guys on Saturday. Thanks, Isaac and Megan, also.